going down? It is your boy, Studio MacGyver, and you are listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. Back for another episode, and this is episode number 84. Man, got a little bit to talk about today, guys. As I go down this list of things to discuss, a lot of things happening in these video game streets, even some things happening in these anime streets. Got some Dragon Ball Super to talk about. Yes, there was a second trailer that was released, and man, they let a lot of shit out the bag with this one. I want to talk about, what was seen, what people are talking about, what I think may or may not happen. Yeah, man, just bear with me. I'm going to have to talk about some Dragon Ball Super coming up. We're also going to talk a little about some Red Dead Redemption 2, man. The hype is real. The hype train has been going on for quite some time. And, I mean, I don't know if I've anticipated a game. I can't remember the last time I anticipated a game as much as I'm anticipating this game. I mean, the more and more that I learn, I just get more excited, man. There's just so many things that Rockstar has up their sleeves, and I just feel like this is just going to be an excellent game overall. But I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Got some Witcher news. Actually, I currently started a new playthrough of The Witcher because it's been so long, and I was trying to find something to get myself into until Red Dead drops, and something that's definitely gonna take some time to complete. And this is a game that I chose. So I'm talking about, I'm starting from scratch, but it's definitely going to be something fun, and I'm looking forward to it. We're also going to talk about some Shinobi Striker. Of course, we're going to be talking about some Nintendo Switch out here in the air. Heard some shit in the streets about that. We're going to talk a little about Harry Potter. Yeah, I know Harry Potter coming out of left field on some Harry Potter talk. And what else do we have here? Some Fallout 76 stuff, man. Something coming in the near future for Fallout 76. Also, Nintendo working on some sort of device or cover for your phone. And we'll get into that as well. So with that being said, guys, let's dive into this. I guess first I want to start off by talking about a little bit of some Sony news. Yeah, Sony has been rumored, guys, and this is a good thing if you guys fuck with PlayStation 4 or whatever. They're working on possibly letting us finally change our gamer tags. Yes, the whispers in the streets are that Sony has been working on something on an upcoming update that will eventually allow us to change our gamer tags, man. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of us out here who've created gamer tags years ago who wish we could change it for whatever reason. And, I just thought that would be a dope option for people to have, to be able to do that. I understand why it's taken so long to some degree. There's, especially when you have so many things associated with your gamer tag, and, what they would have to do to go in there and fix it to where, once you do that, everything is still linked to your account. So, I mean, it's going to take a little work, I'm assuming. But if this does happen, I mean, it will definitely be welcomed. And they're all for the better for it if that happens. But I just thought I'd add that. It is something that, something to think about if you are one of the ones who are trying to change your gamer tag and you can't do it right now. So yeah, be looking out for that. I mean, there's no date on this update or when this is actually going to happen, but the fact that it's being mentioned out here in these streets probably means that, it can't be too far off. So with that being said, that is some Sony news on the gamer tag situation. I want to talk a little bit about this Nintendo slipcover that's been, I guess, going on. Supposedly, Nintendo is working on some sort of patent that will allow you to put whatever this device is, which looks to be some sort of cover. And you can basically put it on your cell phone, and I guess it's got these sensors on the other side of the case, which would allow you to I guess trigger certain things on your screen. So basically it's a cover you put on your phone, and it allows you to play Game Boy type of titles on the phone, because right now Nintendo's starting to try to get into the Android market and the iOS market with some of their games. I'm assuming that it's going to be associated with most, Game Boy type of titles right now, which will bring me to something else to talk about in a second. But I mean, they have something similar to this. It looks it's made of plastic, and you basically slide your phone inside of it, and it gives you, the top half of your phone to kind of work with as a screen. And then you have the directional pad, and then the A and B buttons on the bottom to, for your controls. But this looks like Nintendo's doing something a little bit different, but with the same recipe, I guess. And, guys, excuse me, I'm going to try to edit this shit out as much as I can. But man, it seems like every time I try to do a podcast, my voice, I get shit caught in my throat, man. I don't know. I may need to start doing vocal exercises or whatever the fuck I need to do. But I seem to come in contact with this every fucking time it's time to record. I don't know. But Nintendo is definitely trying to make some shit percolate with this. And like I said before, I'm going to mention, it brings me to this conclusion with Nintendo. When Nintendo, if you haven't heard, some weeks, you might even say maybe a month and a half ago or so, Nintendo's been going after these companies, these online companies, these ROM companies who basically are giving out these ROMs to all kind of games. They've been going after these companies very, very hard, and forcing a lot of these guys to shut down over their ROMs. Okay. And it makes sense when you think about it now that Nintendo's going after these people, because they're trying to, I guess, enter a market where they're re-releasing Nintendo games, which is the online shit that they got going on. Those are the NES games. And then with this patent, you might see things down the pipeline as far as, Game Boy games and, some of the earlier ROMs that they have or whatever. So Nintendo's trying to basically stop a lot of these guys from giving these games away, because when you think about it, I mean, you could download a fucking Nintendo NES game for pretty much anywhere now. I mean, it's so easy. Even a caveman can do it. I don't know if they think that this is going to help them in the long run or what. But in my opinion, if you ask me, it's really not. Usually when you shut companies like this down, they end up turning around and under a different name, starting something else. There's always people who find a way to make adjustments and change it, in their favor. It just, I mean, with technology and everything the way it is now, I mean, you almost can't stop it. It's almost impossible to stop that boat from moving in the water. But hey, that's their prerogative to do that. If they own the games or whatever, even if it doesn't make sense, because they're only giving us access to a limited amount, and it's just, I could go on and on about Nintendo and some of their practices, but it's not going to help anybody here. So I'm going to move on. Next thing I want to, I guess, bring to the forefront is The Witcher. Yeah, man. Apparently, the author of this excellent series is demanding $16 million from Project Red. Supposedly, way back in the day, I want to say around it could have been around 2004, 2005, if I'm not mistaken. Project Red, basically the author of The Witcher, basically sold the rights to the series to Project Red. Now, initially, Project Red wanted to offer a certain percentage of the profits of this beautiful franchise. They wanted to offer him a percentage of future, earnings. And he turned the shit down. And he said, no, fuck that. I want the money now. And that's how I would like to do it. So they said, cool. They agreed upon a price. Now, the rumor out here in these video game streets is the price was only about $10,000. And, back in the day, I can't remember if it was 95 or 2005, but, I guess he thought that was a lot of money then. He even admitted that he thought that the series, as far as video games was concerned, wasn't going to amount to much of anything. And I guess $10,000 to him was a win for him. But now that, you find out that Project Red is worth, I think $2 billion now, his forehead got wet, his armpits got a little moist, and he started asking himself some questions. And, I guess that little man inside of his head was probably telling him, I need more. I should have had more. And now, he wants to do this. So he's basically, threatened Project Red with, this story and threats of how if I put this out, how it may tarnish, your company, and, it could do you some damage. But what I love about Project Red is Project Red took this and the article that he wrote, and they published it themselves. Yes, they did. Project Red's not running from anybody. They did everything by the book, totally legal. He chose to, take the money up front now, and, they're not worried about anything. When you get thirsty, and you see people doing things and it wasn't what you thought it was going to be because of the decision that you chose to make. I mean, you're kind of making yourself look kind of dumb. This guy also admits that he is not a gamer. He doesn't care for games. It's not in his, not in his world. And therefore, that's why he thought it wasn't going to do anything in this market. But, he's wrong. I don't really, if you don't like games anyway, that's already strike one with me, period. But, it was him. He sold it for that. And Project Red is in the right for this. So that's just my opinion on it. I mean, somebody else might have a different opinion, but they had every opportunity. He had every opportunity to do that, and he did not. So kudos to Project Red for putting that article out there in these streets and basically putting their nuts out here in this air and letting them breathe, because they didn't do anything wrong. Not in my opinion. Next, I want to talk about Fallout 76. Yeah, Fallout 76, that game that, a lot of us is out here looking forward to, is coming out in November. Good luck with that. As far as, when the Red Dead online shit drops in November too. That's going to be interesting. It really is. But anyway, supposedly this coming Monday, we're going to have some gameplay. There's a lot of people anticipating this, including myself. I want to get a taste of how, the gameplay is going to be. I don't know how much gameplay is going to be, but Monday is the day, and we're going to get some gameplay footage. I'll definitely be covering that on the next week's podcast, and letting you guys know what I think of it, at least, and where to go from there. But they have their challenges in front of them, because when Red Dead drops, it's going to get very, very interesting, because their online mode, or online beta, if you want to call it that, their shit starts in November as well. Now, depending on the date, because we don't have an actual release date of it, we just know it's November. That's it. That's going to determine, how this works and how good the beta is too, because if it's a decent enough beta and it's pretty robust off top, which I think it probably will be, then Fallout 76 might be in trouble, because I'm telling you right now, if you know anything about, Rockstar and the GTA series, that is a series that never sleeps. And especially if you got a new IP going on right now, which is going to be Red Dead, man, the servers, they're going to crash the servers, man. There's going to be so many motherfuckers out here. It's going to get ridiculous. And nobody's going to be checking for Fallout 76, at least as a first go-to game. If you have to put it on a list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to be Red Dead, and then maybe, Fallout might be number 2, but it definitely is not going to be number 1. So I'm interested to see how that's going to take place. And like I said, it's also going to have to do with how good Fallout 76 is, because Fallout 76 is going to be an online only game. No story to think of or to talk about that I know of, to my knowledge, up to this point. So, you got an online only game. Red Dead has the story going for it as well as the online, so, I mean, I don't know, man. If you have, if your wallet is limited and you have a certain amount that you can spend and you have to make a decision between 2 titles, it's going to be Red Dead for me. I mean, that's without saying, but, it just depends, because there are a lot of big Fallout guys out here, and I know that they're banking on the success of this game and hoping that it does everything that they hope it will do. And I'm rooting for it too, because I do like Fallout 2. Don't get it twisted. I had all of the other Fallouts. I've played them all, and I just have some questions with the online mode, because this is something that they've never done before, and I'm just hoping that they get it right. They're probably going to take some bumps along this road. This is definitely a slippery slope. When you talk about new IPs from companies who aren't, necessarily used to doing stuff like this. And, to be honest with you, I mean, it's kind of like rolling dice, because you don't know, what's going to happen on the technical side. They've never been in this territory before. So they're swimming in very, very deep waters. And I just hope that they have their life jacket that they think that they have. That's all I'm going to say on that. And basically, we'll see. We'll see how it transpires as time progresses. And I'll leave it at that. Put my money on the table and walk away. Yes. Now I kind of want to talk about this Nintendo Switch. Yeah, man. There's going to apparently be a new version of the Nintendo Switch sometime in 2019. Now, Nintendo hasn't said anything themselves about this. This came from the Wall Street Journal. Okay. These guys supposedly are working on a new model. Some people are calling it a Nintendo Switch Pro. And that's the closest, I guess I could come to naming it, giving it a name if it had to have a name. Nobody knows when. There's no date set or anything. Supposedly Nintendo is basically going through their list of things that they think they should add to make it what it is. Most people are speculating that it's going to be a higher resolution screen, a more vibrant game screen, maybe even a slightly bigger, maybe even, heightened battery life. Who knows? I mean, if you're coming out with something like this, it better have better battery life, at least that, because that's been its Achilles heel for a lot of players. Yeah. So we'll see. Only time will tell. It's most likely going to be the end of 2019 if it's possible, and it could get extended. I mean, there's no rule saying Nintendo can't, push anything back, because a lot of companies do things like this, and we could get it 2020. If you ask me, I'm banking on 2020 sometime, not 2019. Now, it may be revealed in 2019, but as far as releasing, I'm going to put my money on 2020 sometime maybe the second quarter of 2019. I'm just shooting in the dark right now. There's nothing, set in stone, but that if I had money and I had to bet on something, that's what I would bet on. But we'll definitely be covering this. Anything happens, any news, you will definitely hear it here. And I will give it to you. But I thought that was funny, man, because I was talking about, the Nintendo Switch before, and you guys know how I felt, or how I felt about, the system and getting it. And then later, they release another version of it. It's happened to me before, and I'm like, fuck, I just hope 2020 as opposed to 2019, because I just got my Switch. I haven't even, done anything with it too much yet. And a lot of people out there feel some type of way about that, and they've had theirs longer, but we'll see what happens. We'll see if it's worth getting. I mean, hey, worth the upgrade. I mean, I'll definitely make that move if it's worth it, but they have to make it like so good. And maybe they're saving shit for that as well. Cause I don't know. They're saying they're ready to do this because the sales of the system have, took a significant dive because, everybody who wanted to buy it most likely have already bought it. I'm sure it'll spike a little bit, this holiday season, because of Christmas or whatnot, but then, it'll probably drop back down. And, they want to sustain the steady flow of sales. So maybe they go out and release this. Who knows, man? There's lots of things still up in the air, but we shall see. Just thought I'd give you that, guys, give you that information and, do what you will with it. Okay. Want to talk now about some Shinobi Striker. I wanted to talk about this because, man, as a Naruto fan, I really wanted this game to do well, and I almost predicted it to the T, as far as what would happen with this game. A lot of people got on that hype train. A lot of Naruto fans got on this hype train. And what ended up happening was the game, well, I should say the players burned themselves out after about, 2 months of gameplay. If it hasn't even been out fucking 2 months. I mean, it's somewhere around that time. It hasn't been out long at all. But I've talked to a friend of mine who actually bought it, who had it pre-ordered and everything. He was hype. I mean, he was fucking hype. He was actually fresh off of the series. And, it does that to you sometimes, when you're fresh off of a great series like Naruto, you go buy everything Naruto. I mean, that's what I did. I was so hype when I got finished with Shippuden. And, he got it and he burned himself out. And I asked him the other night, I mean, tell me how you feel, now it's been almost 2 months and, you've had it. Like, how do you feel about it? And he said, yeah, man, they need more content. Once you level up or whatever, there's nothing else to do. And then on top of that, you got to have your friends playing and everybody's leaving now. So it's just like you're just by yourself technically. And it's just not, once you're done with that's it. I mean, now there's supposedly 9 DLCs on the way. I mean, the first one, which is Jiraiya, has come in, but all it is Jiraiya as a character, and then it's a lot of his move sets, a lot of his things that you can be taught and you can use. Other than that, I mean, that's it. Now I kind of see why they're doing 9 of these. They're milking it pretty motherfucking good too. Bandai Namco is falling into, kind of falling into, money sucking, man. I mean, money gouging, if you will. I don't know whose decisions, or, who's making these decisions out here, but they're not very good right now, in my opinion. I'm not really feeling it, but that's here nor there, man. They need to get it together though. Just because you create a game and you slap, a popular, license on it doesn't always make it golden, man. And it seems like they're trying to, I guess, capitalize on the names of some of these franchises, just to make a buck. And then on top of that, they're dragging shit out, with these DLCs, 9 fucking DLCs, 9 DLCs. Jiraiya, in my opinion, should have been in the fucking game. I mean, these guys should have been, Tsunade, they should already be, in this game. I mean, but people always find a fucking way to gouge you for money. And it's just how it is. And as a result of that, you see what's happening right now before your eyes. This game is a flop. It's going to flop. I mean, it had some steam, a little bit of steam coming out the gate, but that's about it, man. I don't see it doing too much of anything. And I'm so glad that I didn't spend $65 on it. Cause I was definitely thinking about doing it, and I'm glad I waited. And it'll probably drop significantly, in the coming months, the next 3 or 4 months, man. You'll probably be getting it for $30, and probably maybe even 20, depending on what it is. eBay, you might be able to buy them now for, who knows, you might be able to get it for 20 if you look hard enough. But yeah, I mean, I'd pay that for it, but just because I'm a Naruto fan and that's it. But other than that, man, I don't know. These servers don't look like they're going to be around too long by the way that this is going right now. They better, do some backstepping, or it's going to be a long fucking year for this game. Just saying. A lot of people have been also complaining about, the balance of the game. How there's certain characters, certain things you do, and they haven't balanced it with patches yet. And, work needs to be done, and it hasn't been done yet. So I don't know what they're waiting on. If I was them, I would definitely get on it. But the lack of content, it not being balanced, those are two main factors that people are complaining about with this game. So let's get it together, Bandai Namco. I know you're doing a lot of different things, but don't fuck the fans over on this one. Okay. All right. Harry Potter. Let's talk a little bit about that, man. Harry Potter supposedly's got a game in the works, an RPG Harry Potter game. Now, I was never a big Harry Potter fan. I had an ex-girlfriend who fucking loved Harry Potter. Matter of fact, I remember the movie I bought her for her birthday. She loved me for it. But, if you take it and you put it in a RPG package and wrap it like that, then, I could see myself jumping into something like this, because supposedly the game's going to allow you to create your own character. And you can, learn all kinds of different things and tricks and it's supposed to be like pretty good, man. I don't know how it got leaked, but it did get leaked. And, if it does happen, that might be something that I could be interested in. I'm just letting you guys know that this is a thing. This is real. So all you Harry Potter fans out there, eat your heart out, because a game is coming for you guys. So, you would think something like this would have happened sooner, but I mean, hey, better late than never, I say. But yeah, there is a game. It is a thing. It is coming. Somebody's working on it. It is an RPG. You can customize your own characters and whatnot. I think anything with customization, man, I'm a fool for it. I'm a sucker for it. You got my attention. So until, you prove that, you aren't worthy of me picking up that game, then I'm going to assume that you are worthy until, that changes. So be looking out for Harry Potter, in the video game world, a new Harry Potter game. I'm sure they've made games in the past. I can't think of any right now, but nothing of any significance. This one seems to be quite the opposite of that. So, hey, if I hear anything else, I will definitely fill you guys in, and do your own research if you like as well. Hit that Google button. Okay, want to talk a little bit about Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay. Now the funny thing about this is, my brother called me up, not too long ago, and he's not your typical gamer, man. He's not, I wouldn't even call him a gamer. I'd call him like a casual player, somebody who plays every blue moon, and he only really plays sports games. Okay. If it's not Madden, if it's not 2K, 19 or whatever, then he's really not playing it. But he tells me, every once in a while, man, I'd like a good, open world RPG from time to time to lose myself in. That'd be kind of cool. He used to play those sporadically in the past on past systems like the PlayStation 3 and maybe even the 2. But, I knew this game was going to be the shit already. But when he called me and said, yo, I want to play Red Dead Redemption 2. This game looks awesome. I can't fucking wait. I knew that Rockstar had a fucking hit, because Rockstar is reaching not only just, the gamers, which, I am one, and a lot of you guys listening are as well, but they're reaching the fucking casual gamers. They're touching the whole thing, the whole umbrella. If you own a system, and you're not talking about this game, then something's wrong. If you know my brother like I do, then God damn it, it's a trip to hear that. And that just, it just makes it even more it just makes me more excited, about this game, man. And then the more and more that I hear about it, they're almost putting out shit every other day and giving us new info. Or maybe you watched a video or you saw something about it that you skimmed over and you didn't really catch, and you catching something else here and there. I'm like, oh my God. They gotta have the weapon system. It looks like it's going to be sick. there are semi-automatic weapons that you can get your hands on, and that's what I think I'm looking forward to the most, semi-automatics. But the customization to the weapon in itself, you have to you have to treat your weapon like like a living thing almost. I mean, you have to oil your weapons, you have to clean your weapons, if you want them to work, because they could jam on you if you don't. I mean, you could find old weapons out here in the world off of people, lost weapons like treasures or whatnot. And, a lot of them won't be in working condition, but you can make them in working condition. You can repair them or whatnot. And then, you might have a diamond in the rough. There's so many things. I mean, you can make Molotovs and, special ammo, maybe hollow points or maybe ammo with fire on them or whatnot. You got your bows and arrows, you got your handguns, and you got your rifles. All of them are completely cosmetic as well. So, I mean, if you're holding two guns, guess what? You're going to visually see him holding two guns. If he's got a rifle, guess what? You'll see the rifle on his back. All of this stuff, man. I mean, and that's just the weapons. The weapon system, just part of the weapon system. That's not including just everything else in this world that is supposed to be so fleshed out that you won't be able to tell you're playing a game. As far as, over the 200 plus animal species out here in this world, just a robust, rich atmosphere that you're in. I just can't wait. And all of this is going to spill over into the online mode as well, man. Every aspect as far as, how you earn your money, what you like to do, the gangs you want to create or join. I mean, it's going to be so sick. And customization, of course, you cannot go wrong with that. They said that there's literally like, it's almost like looking at a catalog, an actual real life catalog when you're searching for clothes. I mean, no two people's character is going to look the same. I mean, they've got hundreds and hundreds of different, gear combinations of things. I mean, it's going to be crazy. Even shirts. If I buy a shirt and if James buys the same shirt, guess what? I mean, you can actually, choose to roll those sleeves up, keep them down. So it's just not going to be, it's going to be crazy. I cannot wait for this game to drop, man. I mean, the story in itself is the main game, the main story. And then the online mode, when you can create your own character and then you can come and jump in your own adventures and create your own destiny in this world. It's going to be so nasty. It's going to be so sick. The game is looking, it's fucking wet. I haven't used that word in quite some time, but man, this game looks to be amazing and highly skilled. I know, how can a game be highly skilled, but it can be. Damn sure Rockstar are fucking wet. Okay. Those motherfuckers are, they're just the creme de la creme. They really are. And you can hear it in their voices when they talk. You can hear it even when you read it, that they have done something so amazing. We're going to be talking about this game for years to come. I just know it. I mean, there's people still talking about Red Dead Redemption, the first one. So, I mean, it was a classic in its own right. You know what I mean? And this is a brand new game. The IP is brand new. Everything is stemming off of the PlayStation 4 and then, the Xbox One's current system. So I don't have there's not enough to say about this company, about this game. Just be excited for it, guys. And everybody that I fucking know pretty much who plays games is getting this game. I mean, this is a game that everybody is pretty much going to have. They're going to sell a shitload of these games, man. All right, last but not least, guys, I'm going to talk a little bit about some Dragon Ball. Yes, finally, there was another trailer that came out, trailer number 2 for the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. And, what caught my attention was the fact that they started to, show clips and, older characters, made appearances. Basically, what it looks to be of how, Frieza's army came and invaded, Planet Vegeta and what took place, in that arc and what happened. One thing I found out, about Toriyama and Toei and these guys, and it made a lot of people upset. and I don't know how to feel about this, but nothing is canon with these guys. Okay, they just do what they fucking want to do. And what I mean is, you'll see something in this movie and you'll ask yourself, well, why the fuck is this happening? Because in a previous, in this arc, this happened. That plot holes everywhere. And Toriyama and Toei and them, all those guys, they just do what they want to do. Like, Toriyama forgets half his characters anyway. He's admittedly, talked about this before. And, they just go off the cuff. I mean, they could make this movie here. And then, when Dragon Ball Super comes back out, it might not even be called Super. But, I mean, almost a lot of their shit doesn't make sense. I mean, they just do what they want to do, man. A lot of people are talking about, Dragon Ball Minus, which is a kind of what if story in the Dragon Ball universe, if things were different. And, a lot of people are upset about Bardock, this version in Dragon Ball, the Bardock in Dragon Ball Minus. People aren't really, keen on this version of Bardock. And supposedly this is the Bardock that is going to be in this movie. Okay, he's more of a scientist than a savage, as he was back, in his movie and back in the canon, the previous canon that he was in. So they're just kind of changing shit up on the fly, making it fit their own, current situation and in the story arc or whatever. And, that bothers a lot of people. That rubs a lot of people the wrong way, man, because if it's canon or not canon, I mean, everybody accepted the fact that, this was going to be a brand new Brawly, disregard the previous Brawly. And I was cool with that. I was definitely cool with that. But then when you start, doing some of this other stuff, man, with some of these other characters, man, it kind of is, it's like, I'm like, wait a minute, hold up. Now don't get it twisted. I'm not one of those guys that's, they keep doing this shit. I'm done with Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? I'm not one of those guys because, I mean, let's keep it real. None of us would even be having this conversation if it wasn't for Toriyama and Toei and these guys. Anyway, if these characters didn't exist, we wouldn't have anything to bitch about anyway. So, I'll take what I can get as a fan of the series, just make it good and just make it great. I mean, that's really the only thing I have to say about that. I mean, do what you have to do. Just make the shit good. I do understand a lot of the fans out here when, certain things are canon, certain things aren't. And he can't even explain a lot of these things when they're brought to his attention. Like I said before, I don't know what he does in his spare time when he's away from the writing room or whatnot, but I have implied at times that he does like to participate in sake and drink plenty of it from time to time, and maybe even an occasional endo stick. He likes to spark up, maybe roll a scroll or two. In these boardrooms, and they're just kind of just going off the cuff and just whatever comes out, Well, let's redo Brawly. I don't want him to, be this way. As he takes another sip of the sake and continues, but what about the canon? Wow, fuck the canon. Let's just do this way and, that way. I'm Toriyama. I'm going to do what the fuck I want. I mean, I don't know what's going on in these boardrooms. I don't know what's going on behind these closed doors. I do know, I can probably bet that if I were to enter one of these rooms after everybody had left, the air in the room would definitely smell of sake, plenty of it. And, endo would definitely be mixed in there as well. Now, you could have Sherm in there as well. They could be, really getting fucked up in here. Sometimes it's how it feels when I'm listening to some of these guys talking. I'm hearing what's going on, with some of these characters. There's been plenty of plot holes. If you're a true Dragon Ball fan and you know this, stemming all the way back from fucking Dragon Ball. With a lot of these characters. One of my personal favorite characters, Ten Shinhan. I mean, there's been so many fucking holes in his backstory. I mean, you can pick which one to pee in. It's just been a lot of shit going on. And now, with more of these prevalent characters, it's happening as well with them. So, I mean, you could look at this through a different lens if you want to, but nobody truly is going to really know until we watch this movie. It looks like they're mixing a lot of things in, and, you got a lot of shit that is canon, a lot of shit is not, but, that leaves questions for the future. It definitely does for the series, like where they're going to go with it. Is it going to be called Super? Now, I mean, hearing this news, it has me thinking that, expect the unexpected. Just expect the unexpected with anything Toriyama and Toei and those guys are doing, because as of right now, man, nobody really fucking knows what they're going to do. Don't take, this movie and, assume that, Super's going to have anything to do with this shit going forward, because like I said, they could change some shit up in the next series. If it's even called Super, and characters will be different there. I mean, you could see Brawley there, but then he's under another, I mean, who knows? Who fucking knows? I don't, I don't know anymore, and I'm not going to speculate, man. I'm just going to take it as it comes. And hopefully, like I said, just make the shit good. And whatever they call the series moving forward, if it's going to be Super, if it's going to be, Dragon Ball Saki, I don't know, man. It could be that, you know what I mean? Because it seems like he's been doing a lot of that as of late. But whatever they call it, man, hey, I'm down. Just make it good, man. I'm a Dragon Ball fan to the end. Always will be, always have been. It's the first anime I fell in love with, and it will definitely not be the last. But I love it. For its flaws, for, all the good and all the bad in it. I mean, nothing is perfect, and that includes our favorite manga and our favorite anime. So I'll take it like that, and I'll put my money on the table, and I'll walk away from that. But a lot of characters made appearances in this trailer, man. And, Zarbon and Dodoria. I was very, very pleased to see these guys. And I wonder what their part will be in the movie alongside, you got the Ginyu Force as well. You got Goku's mom as well in this appearance. This is her first ever appearance. She's never been in any kind of anime. She was never featured. So looking at her, getting to find out, hopefully what kind of person she was. She seems like she was, a loving mother and all of that. And, I'm anxious to see how this is going to, how this is the past, if you will, is going to be. I mean, you also got to see King Vegeta, and, he was bowing like a bitch, in front of King Cold. You also see King Cold in here. Now, hopefully he has, some more story. We get a little bit more background on him, because, I mean, King Cold was actually supposed to be the main ruler of the universe. He just kind of gave Frieza his, keys and told him, like, run this shit. So I'm anxious to see how all this stuff transpires, man. What all this stuff means from the past or whatever. And I just, I'm very anxious. I am definitely very anxious to see how this is going to go. I still think in my heart that this is going to be a fantastic movie. I still think there's going to be some epic scenes in this movie, some epic fights. And like I said, and I think that's going to make it good. So, that's all I care about. I want it good. That's it. And then the only other question I'd probably have is the connection from this movie to the future of Dragon Ball as a whole, whether it's called Dragon Ball Super or whatever they choose to call it. Is this movie going to, are the characters in this movie going to, dictate, the writing going forward as far as, the canon based? Because like I said, there's technically no canon, man, with these guys. You can't assume that none of this shit is canon, because they could flip it on its ear and then take it to a whole nother place. And next thing I know, who knows who, what character is which, going forward with a new series. So I don't know. I just hope that it's related some type of way to the future of the series, because we know that there's going to be a future of the series. Dragon Ball is not dead, and it won't be for some time. It's a cash cow, and that's just my opinion on it. There's too many things that prove that. I mean, if you put 2 and 2 together, man, you'll find out that it does equal 4, and 4 means that Super is not going anywhere anytime soon. Tell me what you guys think, though, about this second trailer. If you have not seen it, check it out. I want to know your thoughts on this. You can definitely get at me on on Twitter at Studio MacGyver, the Facebook page at Studio MacGyver as well. You can hit me on Instagram, Studio MacGyver79. And you can also fuck with me on my YouTube channel, Studio MacGyver TV. Also, guys, if you fucking like video games, if you like anime like I do, if you're listening, you probably do, then you're probably interested in some fucking merch as well. So go on and hit up Beautiful Nerds, man. That's www.beautifulnerds.com. Nerds is spelled Nurdz. Check these motherfuckers out, man. They got great fucking merch, hats, hoodies, cups, all kinds of shit, gaming related and anime related, and new stuff on the way, new stuff coming on the way, guys. So definitely check out Beautiful Nerds if you have not, and show some love, man. That is going to do it for the show. I want to thank each and everybody that listen to my podcast, man. And a matter of fact, a quick little short story. There's a guy by the name of Pensacola Panda. He's he's one of my listeners, and I chopped it up with him the other night, man. We got into a small conversation on Instagram, and I don't know, I guess we just started talking about, I forgot what it was we were talking about, but I suggested that we chat in a party, and he had a PS4, I had a PS4, and just like that, I set a time and date, and he came, and he sent me an invite, and we chopped it up for about a good hour. I had a nice conversation, man. Got to know him a little bit. He's an excellent guy, man. Excellent person. Feel like I've known him for way longer than that hour that we spoke. And that is the beauty of the internet. That is the beauty of gaming, anime. We have a lot of the same interests. He's in the comics a lot as well, and that's also cool. I just think that, it's really, really gratifying when you get to talk to people who actually appreciate the things that you do. He's one of those guys. He was telling me about, some of the things that, I was speaking about on my last podcast, and it just made my fucking day. And these are the people who I love the most. These are the people who keep me, grounded. And, the reason I do what I do, man, I'm just a guy. I'm nobody special. I'm just a guy who, like all of you guys who like to take part in gaming and anime and things of that nature, nerd culture, if you will. And I'm just, that's just what I love to do, man. And I just like talking about it. And, a lot of you guys like to listen. And I just find that very, very gratifying, man. And I just want to say thank you. And I just wanted to shout him out, because it's the right thing to do, man. And this is the reason why I do what I do. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to leave it on that note. Tune in next week. Of course, I'll have plenty more to talk about. I got a lot of stuff in the works, guys. Please go to Studio MacGyver TV and check out some videos. Show your support. Subscribe if you haven't. I have a Patreon coming next year sometime. I'm working on a lot of things for you guys, man. A lot of content and a lot of things, moving forward. So I just want to be a better channel. I want to be a better podcaster. I want to be, a better gamer. I want to be all these things for you guys. And so you guys can have things to go check out. And I just love each and every one of you guys. And I just want to thank all of you guys for taking part and listening and downloading these episodes every weekend. And, just showing your love, man. If you're listening to this podcast, I consider that an act of love, and I'm just going to reciprocate that. And I just want to say thank you. So with that being said, guys, you have been listening to Studio MacGyver's Dragon Ball and Video Game Podcast. See you next time.